promoting businesses and organizations to help them reach their full potential. Lighten the path to the success of your business. Enhancing the lives of our listeners by talking about things that matters most. Helping you to shine your light emotionally, mentally, spiritually, socially, and physically. Spreading positive vibes. You've got it locked and you're listening to Light Vibrations, brought to you by Lyte Communications right here on CBN Radio 90.9 FM. And now your host and our director, Natasha Letza. Hello, you've got it locked and you're listening to Light Vibrations powered by CBN Radio 90.9 FM and brought to you by Lyte Communications every Wednesday at 8 a.m. I'm your host, Director of Lyte Communications, Natasha Letza. Today, our program is being sponsored by the BVI Olympic Committee and our topic is physical literacy. Here to speak about our topic and to educate the community on why we should have a vested interest in the physical literacy of our children, our education officer, Hayda Selwood, and physical literacy specialist, Jessica Watman. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
To start us off, Jessica, tell us what is physical literacy and what are the benefits of being physically literate?
Okay, so physical literacy is the competence to move and move in different environments, the confidence to move, and the motivation. And what we hope to achieve is, if you have all of these, being able to move, confident to move, and having the motivation and desire to move, is that you will choose to be active for life. So there's many benefits of physical literacy, not only just the obvious health benefits, but also you get a lot of social benefits from interacting with other people, a lot of emotional benefits as well, because usually when you're moving, you're happier. So it goes beyond just the physical into your health and wellness as well overall.
Mm-hmm. Who are your target audience regarding physical literacy right now?
In the BVI right now, it's with the early childhood educators and the primary school teachers, and of course the students that they're teaching. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping to train the teachers to use this information to then benefit the students that they're working with.
So interesting that we're starting with the children. What is the method behind this? Why are we starting with the children, and what role should the Ministry of Education play in promoting physical literacy?
So we're going to start with the children because that's where they form their habits into adulthood, is at the early years. So if we can get them from the beginning when they're young, and get them to experience physical literacy in a positive way, then hopefully they will choose to be active into their teenage years and into adulthood. It's of course not too late for adults to also experience and develop their physical literacy, but if we can start with the children now, then they will be our future adults, and we'll have a healthier population overall. So the Ministry of Education is supporting the teachers for this project, and I'm here for the next couple of days to do some training with the teachers. So if so the Ministry of Education is providing resources and training for the teachers so they can use this information to support the kids that they're teaching.
Awesome stuff. So we all know that parenting is a multifaceted approach, and when you're talking about being physically literate, it's not just a job for the schools. Parents also have a role to play. What role should parents play with regard to ensuring that their children are physically literate?
Well, I think first of all that parents have to come on board with this as well and see the importance of it, and they can be role models themselves. So simply going out and playing with their children so that children can see their parents being active as well is probably one of the best ways to promote physical literacy. Physical literacy is also really important for kids in terms of their schooling as well, because if you have an active body, then you have an active brain, and so you're going to retain the information that you are learning in school as well if you're moving more. So physical literacy, as I said before, is not only for the body but for the mind as well. So I think parents, they want the best for their children, and if their children are moving and they're healthy and they're happy, then I hope that they will come on board for that.
Awesome, Jessica. Once again, thank you for coming on the program. Hayda, how is the Ministry of Education and Health working together to promote physical literacy locally?
Thank you for being here. Now, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, we have a working partnership. Presently, we have a memorandum of understanding with the two ministries. Most of the programs that the Ministry of Health runs and dealing with children, the children are in school. Education deals with school. So there has to be this partnership so that the programs can run. And I know the Ministry of Health, they're very instrumental in seeing that our young people maintain good health, seeing that we maintain a healthy population. And so one of the avenues that we are working closely together with is making sure that these programs are promoted in the schools. And hence the reason why the Ministry of Health and Education have partnered together on this particular project.
Well, I personally believe that that is a vital partnership because, like you said, if you want to change the future, if you want to change the health of the people of the community, if you want to go ahead and try to promote or create these athletes, you have to get them, you have to lay that foundation from when they're in school. So I'm happy to hear of that. But that partnership, exactly what is the status now with regards to physical literacy in school, and what are some of the gaps or the shortfalls that you have that you hope to address as part of this program?
Now, our physical education literacy program, in 2016, let me back up. In 2016, we were exposed to some training from Sports for Life Canada, and Jessica is part of that program. She wasn't here, but some of her colleagues were here, and they did a series of training with mainly our physical education teachers and a few classroom teachers, because we are seeing the importance of movement for a number of our classes, and I guess this is cultural. You think that if children sit all day and they sit in a class all day and they're quiet and attentive, that learning is taking place. Now, research has shown that the more children move, the more active they are, the more healthier they are. And so some of the teachers were exposed then. Now the shortfall to that, so we have some idea about physical literacy. The shortfall to that is that there was never follow-up with the program. And so we are now getting back on board, because after that was in 2016, we know what happened in 2017, and it's like we want to pause. And so now we are trying to get things back on stream, and hence the reason why Jessica is here to, again, we're going to re-promote the program and hoping this time to expose as many of our teachers as possible so they can understand the whole concept behind physical literacy. We want our audience to understand that physical literacy goes beyond, and Jessica described that for us earlier, it goes beyond just moving. It develops the whole individual, it's holistic development.
And I love that, and we've seen so much in schools now. It's like going outside and playing has been removed. I mean, sometimes you come and you see the children, they're just sitting there, and before time you come on a school's campus, it's some kind of running about. I don't even see skipping ropes anymore. So it's like we have now all bought into this concept of, don't come home sweaty, like the perspiration is high, so try to sit here in this AC all day. We've gotten comfortable with that sort of lifestyle, and I think that, and then PE once a week, really. I mean, so yeah, this is some of the gaps that you definitely have to address. What are some of the outcomes that you hope will come out of this project, and the way forward and the impact on the student?
One of the major things, we are hoping to change mindset. Again, until our community see the vision, until they understand the magnitude of what we are dealing with, when we look at our health condition and we see more and more for young people coming down with non-communicable diseases, it's a cause of concern. And so we are hoping that out of this program, people are going to actually see where the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, the vision that we have of improving the health of our young people and in general improving the health of our community.
Well, I wish you guys luck on that. Definitely is something that it is instrumental, something that we need to do. As a former athlete myself, I know that the role that, sports, how it benefited my life and my academics. So it's definitely substance there to an active body and active mind. And we just want to encourage parents and educators to jump on board with this physical literacy and help the ministries of education and health. And also another partner essential in this whole equation is the BVI Olympic Committee, jump on board and support. Hayda, tell us why Jessica in the territory this week, and how does her trip factor into the overall mission of promoting physical literacy within schools?
Okay, so during this week, the Ministry of Education is having what we call Summer Institute. It's simply that we run a lot of training for teachers in different areas. This year, we're focusing on physical literacy and critical literacy. So during this week, the week of the 26th to the 30th of August, we are running these trainings, and Jessica is here from Sports for Lyte Canada. We have partnered with them before, and that's BVI Olympic Committee, the Ministry of Health, mainly, and they work through us education, so we have partnered with them before. And so Jessica is here to conduct training with the teachers, the initial training with the teachers during this week. Now, what's going to happen from her initial training, she'll be back, a team will be back again in October. And when they return, they're actually going to be zeroing in on specific schools, doing training with specific teachers so that we can promote this literacy over time. We are hoping that all schools will be covered. And so all schools will not be covered in this first visit in October, but eventually they will be. But for this week, she's here to just sort of pique the teachers' interest by exposing all primary school teachers. You're from an ECD educators, you're from public or private, you'll be exposed to the training.
And Jessica, tell us a bit about some of the objectives of the training and how do you see the training being delivered over the next 2 days?
Yeah, Heida's right that I'm going to try to motivate the teachers. It's not just PE teachers, as she mentioned. So some of these are generalist classroom teachers who may not have a lot of exposure or experience with teaching physical education or know about physical literacy. So first of all, I had to win them over. So I have to really pique their interest. It's really to give them a taster of what physical literacy is and why it's important for them and for their students. And so I'm going to be delivering workshops over the next 2 days. And I'm going to be talking to them about physical literacy, why it's important. I'm going to introduce them to a couple resources they're going to have access to. And then it's going to be how to, I'm going to be showing them what physical literacy looks like, sounds like, and feels like. So we're going to be playing really fun activities and games. So they'll walk away with some games in their back pocket that hopefully they'll use in their classrooms as soon as possible. And yeah, get them a real feel for physical literacy.
So I know some of the messages will be different. What are some of the messages that you're going to give to the PE teachers versus, the classroom teachers? How does physical literacy look from the point of view of a PE teacher to a classroom teacher?
So the PE teachers obviously have more experience and they'll than the classroom teachers. So I'm going to have to show the classroom teachers how to get the kids moving during their teaching in the classroom. So it doesn't have to be outside or in a gym or in a courtyard. They can do movement in their classrooms while they're even teaching math concepts or literacy concepts. So if you do little movement breaks, little energizers, or more importantly, even doing some cross-curricular activities. So some movement games where you might give a math question, and they may have to throw a ball at a target with the number of the answer that's correct. So there's ways to get the kids moving while they're learning, and that will help the kids, as I said before, even retain the information that the teacher's trying to give them in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And how are the skills that you're trying to impart on the PE teachers, how would that enhance their job basically in promoting physical literacy to students during PE time?
So I'm curious to meet the PE teachers and learn a little more about their PE programs and what they are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But some main points I'm going to try to drive home to all the teachers and the PE teachers as well is to create a quality physical literacy environment. Mm-hmm. And there are 5 key PL, physical literacy principles, that I'm going to try to drive home. And that's making sure your programs and your activities are fun. And there's different ways to promote that. I probably can't go into all the details now, but making sure that the program and activities are really fun, because kids are going to want to do it if they're having fun, just like adults. If we're having fun, then we want to continue doing it. If it's not, then we don't. Making sure that the programs are progressive and challenging, and I'm going to teach them a little more about how that can come about. Also making sure it's inclusive and participant-centered. Making sure the kids are always moving, so not too much standing around. Mm-hmm. And it is making sure there's a purpose to the movement. So is it skill development? Is it problem solving? Those types of things. So that's some key points that I'm going to try and hit on the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm. In terms of inclusive, I had to jump on that one because I know that here in the BVI, is a culture regarding PE. Is elective. If you want to participate, you participate. If you want to dress out, you dress out. If you don't want to, most of the times it's girls. They're gonna just sit there on the bleachers and watch. How do we go about trying to ensure that there's inclusion? It might be a little bit more easier on the primary school level, but I guess I was thinking advanced to high school. But I guess if we make that foundation from now, it'll be a little bit easier going into high school. But for now, in terms of PE, it has a sort of a connotation to it, kind of, yes, if you want to know, if you don't. How do you promote the inclusion when we have some of the challenges like that?
That's a really good question. And I think you answered a little bit of it. Is starting out the primary school is really key. So if we can get the teachers trained up so that they're giving the students a positive experience, then they're going to want to play. If they're getting a negative experience from an early age and they're not getting those foundational skills, they are not going to, relates back to the definition of physical literacy, then they're not going to feel confident. And so they're going to withdraw, as you spoke of before. So we need to ensure that we're giving them the positive experiences so that they're confident to move and they're motivated to move. In terms of the high school, I've experienced that too back in Canada with people not wanting to participate, and that is a tough one. But I do think if you build a relationship with those students and find out what interests them, and then try to build that into your programs, get them over on your side and that kind of thing, then hopefully they'll get turned on to it and eventually come around to wanting to be active as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to piggyback on something Jessica said and to answer your question. I was one of the persons, fortunately, who was exposed to the training back in 2016. What I discovered from that training, because I think of my own daughter, and she doesn't want to do PE, but you develop certain skills. It's not teaching for a sport. So you're not teaching to become a great baseball player or basketball player, and I think that's the mentality that a lot of more teenagers especially have towards physical education. So if I'm not a good athlete, PE is not for me. But having done the training, I realized no, because they were focusing on certain skills, skill building. And so simple things like being able to balance. And you saw us adults, we had so much fun. And I was selling this to the teachers even yesterday in our professional development, leading up to Jessica's visit, how much fun this is going to be, because it's skill building. So I want us to understand that when we talk physical literacy, And I saw, especially in the primary school, the PE teachers went back and they were looking for for certain skills. And so you start to boost the confidence of the young people. So they're like, okay, I can do this. So you might not be that great basketball player. You might not be that great 100-meter dash runner. You still run the 100-meter. But you're not going to be that great baseball player. But there's certain basic skills that you can develop when you have completed this program.
Wonderful. And I definitely love the feature of inclusion, because I know, being a former athlete myself, they look for people who possess certain skills already. They don't take the time to build those skills. So we definitely welcome that initiative. Jessica, what do you hope to achieve from your visit?
Over the next 2 days, hopefully we're going to kind of light a fire under these teachers in a way, so to speak, so that they're like, wow, as Haida was mentioning, this was so much fun. And if I had fun, imagine what the students will get from this. Students, especially in the primary level, they want to move. They're kind of built to move, and they want to move. So if they have teachers then that are inspired by this training and who are role models and playing with them and promoting more movement, then I think that's a job well done. So I'm hoping just to inspire them and get them to use some of this material in their upcoming classes.
And what are some of the challenges that the educators will face in your experience while trying to implement this program?
Some of the challenges could be resources. So I brought some equipment this time, which I'll leave with the Ministry of Education. And so hopefully we'll be able to get more resources, so more equipment that they can use with their students, because that will help promote all the skill building that Haida was mentioning before. So the throwing at a target, for instance, certain balancing skills with equipment and things like that are important. And the challenge, I guess, is to keep them motivated, so to keep contact with them throughout the next few months that we're here, so that it doesn't go stagnant. So keeping contact with them to keep them inspired and giving them new activities and ideas and motivation, I think, will be a good thing.
And in terms of, basically promoting physical literacy on a daily basis, what are some of your best practice strategies for educators? You could break it down, PE teachers and classroom teachers, just a few of your best practice strategies.
I think one of the best things is to get them moving early. So if they've been sleeping all day and then they wake up early and come into your classroom, I think one tip I would give is to get them moving right away, to get them awake, get their bodies up, their brains ready to move, ready to learn. If they come in and you just sit them there right away and sit them there for most of the day, their brains, we're not built to just sit there and listen for that long. So I would incorporate movement right at the beginning of the school day, and then as much as you can throughout the day. So it's not just for PE, but it's for classroom teachers as well. And whenever they can, I would get the kids up and moving. I know it's hard because you have your curriculum to teach, but as I said before, if you even give 1-2 minute just energy breaks and then go back to your learning, it's going to be better for everybody. So that's probably my biggest tip.
Thank you. And Haida, what are some of the things in the pipeline for education when it comes to promoting physical literacy in schools? Are we going to up the PE day from 1 day to 2? What kind of strategic changes is the ministry willing to make to be serious about this initiative?
We have been really looking at this whole physical literacy. We see the importance. One of the good things that when the Healthy Schools program came on board, it caused us to start looking at things differently. And so we are happy for that. And we have been looking at where we can, and it's the cry. It's the cry of the PE teachers, it's the cry of the persons like you in the community. We need more time for PE, and we're aware of that, and we have been working some things through. The curriculum is crammed, but we really seriously looking at what is there and where we can, especially for our younger children. And so in the meantime, because these things we do not do overnight, it's a process. And so in the meantime, hence we want to promote physical literacy, where we can get a regular classroom teacher. You might not get the hours in physical education class now. We are working towards that in the long term, but in the meantime, how can we bridge that gap while we work the other kinks out to get there? So we are encouraging physical literacy, encouraging all our teachers to have the children moving. It's to sit all day and there's no movement, and as soon as a child moves, get back in your seat. Why are you out of your seat? Knowing that I said to a parent some day ago, this is what children do, they move. Hello. So we complain that our children are lazy. We complain that they're getting obese. We complain about everything, but we are helping to contribute to that because we do not want our children moving. So I'm hoping that after all of this, our teachers are going to see that everything is moving. And like Jessica rightly said, you're teaching math, have them move. You're teaching English, have them move. You're teaching science, have them move. I was a teacher, I'm still an educator, and I can't, my classes used to always be active. So I can't see why we have changed to having our children just sit from 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock to about 3 in the afternoon, and they get that little break at lunchtime, and for the rest of the day sitting. That's not healthy. So once we can see that the importance, teachers, I'm reaching out to you, our principals, we have been working with them from the ministries level for them to see the importance, because they have to sell it to their staff. And so once the principals are on board, and once they're on board, we are going to still have those few teachers who, probably, so we have to try to motivate them and bring them on board to see the vision, to see the importance that this whole physical literacy program can bring.
Wonderful, Heda. Thank you very much. Jessica, final thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me on here today. I'm super excited about the next 2 days of training. I've been working hard on my presentation, but more on the activities that I'm going to play. So I'm really excited about that, and excited about what the next steps are going to be for this project. So thank you to Haida, and thank you to you for having me on your program.
Definitely the pleasure was mine, ladies, having you on the program today and speaking about this very important topic of physical literacy. I want to thank Heda and Jessica for coming on the program to share with us what is being done locally to promote this initiative in pre and primary schools. This episode of Lyte Vibrations was brought to you by the BVI Olympic Committee. Remember, people who are physically literate have the competence, confidence, and motivation to enjoy a variety of sports, physical activities, and as a result are more likely to stay active throughout their lives. Together, let us promote physical literacy for life. You've been listening to Lyte Vibrations. I'm your host, Natasha Letton, saying thank you for tuning in and blessings.
You've been listening to Lyte Vibrations, brought to you by Lyte Communications. Lyte Communications, your one-stop shop for all of your communications and marketing needs. From conception to completion, we offer the entire communications package. Choose Lyte for reach, results, and reliability. We have over 15 years experience, and we offer an array of services guaranteed to enhance your reach and increase your market presence. To showcase your business or organization on our program, contact Natasha Letson at natasha@lightcommunications.com or via WhatsApp or telephone at 284-545-7355 to secure your package today. Community-minded individuals with knowledge in finance, health, business, relationships, spirituality, fitness, agriculture, healthy living, parenting, or any other topic that can enhance the lives of our community are also encouraged to contact Ms. Letson to organize an interview. Thank you for tuning in to Lyte Vibration, and don't forget to tune in this time next week as we continue to bring you life-changing information. Until next time, shine your light.